Hi, everyone, and welcome back with us here at Unfiltered Podcast. Today, we have a special episode because we are getting our first ever guest on the show today. Welcome with us here today, Mr. Ali.
Thank you.
How are you
Mr.
doing?
Ali,
I'm
welcome.
doing good.
Welcome
I'm doing
to
good.
Unfiltered.
Thank
you ready for this?
I am ready for this.
All right.
All right.
How are you guys doing?
No, we're good. We're good.
Can't complain.
Yeah.
Can't complain. Welcome back, everybody.
Uh,
Great to have all of our listeners back on Unfiltered.
mhm.
We are very excited to be having our first ever guest on the program. And we're going to continue with our tradition of kicking off with rapid fire.
Mhm.
This is a tradition we have on Unfiltered. And we're going to ask a series of yes or no questions to you to start the program.
Start the program.
And the challenge will be you can only give us a yes or no answer.
Oh,
So we know that realtors like to talk. This might be a challenge to
Yeah.
only answer with a yes or a
Oh,
no
Yeah.
single answer. And after that, then we'll get into some more deep, detailed conversations. But
All right. Yeah. Before we
Let's
dive
kick it
into the
off.
questions, our area of conversation today is going to be around the real estate market in America. So we have a realtor with us here today to dissect that discipline. So thank you
Right.
guys so much for joining us today. Ben, do you want to do us the honor of starting with the fire round?
yes, question number one. Will there be a market crash in the near future? Housing market crash.
no.
Okay.
Thank you.
The second question is, do you think AI will interfere with the housing market in America?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So
Is that all we have? For fire round?
that's all
All
we
right.
have today for fire round.
You
Unless
got
we
off
have more
easy. Only
questions.
two.
Only two.
Oh man.
All right. So
And I wish I had opportunity to talk more, give more detail, behind.
Oh,
yeah, no,
absolutely.
we'll go back to the
We'll give
question.
you that chance
Oh,
for
okay.
sure.
Yeah, we'll go back to the question and then you explain why you answered a yes or a no.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So Ben, you had the
Yes.
first question.
I did.
Mhm.
So the question is, will there be a market crash in the near future, housing market? And your answer was no.
My answer is no. And the
so-
reason.
Yeah, before you begin, so the last major kind of crash that we had, if we can call it a crash, was kind of 2008, the major housing crisis in the United States, where there was just massive inflation, and then many people buying homes before they could afford them, banks kind of giving out mortgages recklessly. Do you think we're headed in that type of same direction at this point in time?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And this is because after the 2018 crash, the 08 crash,
Mm.
the banks has put in a lot of things to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Okay.
So right now, before you get a loan, you go through a rigorous, check, making sure that you can afford the loan.
Mhm.
Back then, there were a lot of things that people can do and just get a loan
Mm.
without having a lot of the background check, making sure that they have the income to support it.
Mhm.
So moving forward, I don't see that happening anymore, just because of everything that has been put in place. I know back in when we had COVID, price of houses were just going up so fast. There was people were putting 50,000 above asking price for a home. And everybody was saying that, oh, the market is going to crash. Nothing has happened.
So I have a question on that, because there was, while house prices were rising, there was also a great drop in interest rates at the same time, right? So my question is, was COVID really the right time to buy? Because what we saw was so many people getting into the housing market at super low interest rates, and now of course they've gone way back up. Right now we're at like 6-7% interest rates. So were those people very smart to buy during COVID?
It was a smart move. It was a smart move for sure, because the interest rate was low. However, at the same time, price of houses were going up really, really fast.
Okay.
So people were buying their home at premium prices, but at the lower interest rates.
Yeah. So over the life of the loan, though, they would probably end up paying less, right? Because if they're paying at a 2% interest rate, over a 30-year loan or mortgage loan or something like that, they're probably going to end up paying less overall.
That's correct.
Mhm.
Yes. But if you're hoping to buy and sell in the short run, you're at the premium price. So when you sell, you're not expecting to make that much.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, to pay off the loan, you'll pay less. But the
Right.
question is how many people
Yeah.
actually buy a home to live there for 30 years to pay it off?
Mm.
That's the question.
Sure.
Yeah, not many. So yeah, I have a short follow-up question for you in this line of questioning. I've heard a lot of people talk about buying when there's a crash. Is that a good thing for someone to buy when the market crash?
It's a good thing.
Okay.
But we need to understand what is causing the crash.
Okay.
Is it crashing because, houses are going on foreclosure and we're buying it at a discount? Or is it crashing because, interest rates are low or
Mm.
high?
Uh-huh.
But if the market is crashing, whatever is going on, it's a good time to buy. Whatever you can get opportunity to buy at a discount is always good.
Okay.
But it's not always like that, getting it at a discount.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
So, I mean, the original question was, are we headed for a crash? And you said no. So, do you feel like we're in a healthy market right now? What can we expect maybe in the coming months and next couple of years with the market, in your opinion?
I think we're in a healthy market. As you can see, everything is changing. We're in a fast growing economy right now where things are changing so fast. It's really hard to predict what will happen tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But all we can see is that people are able to predict and be able to have more cushion, save more money in case of anything that will happen. People make more money today as compared to back in the days. People are more aware today of a crash.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people out there that are waiting for a crash. So if it happens again today, if you have a home to sell, there's somebody that will be ready to buy it right away. So you won't even get to the point of a crash as long as it's a good house.
Okay.
But if it's a messy house, then that's a problem.
That's a problem.
So, I mean, what I've been hearing, though, is that there's a lot more people looking to sell right now than to buy. Is that your experience? Is that what you're noticing in the market?
So right now, there's less people willing to sell. There's
Okay.
a little bit more,
Less people willing to sell.
Yes, there's a little bit more people willing to buy.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why right now I can say we are in a seller's market. Excuse me. Yeah, we're in a seller's market because there's always more people willing to buy than more people to sell. So if you have a good house in the market, guarantee there'll be multiple offers.
Okay.
Guarantee there'll be multiple offers.
Interesting.
Quick little story. So usually my market is within the Twin Cities area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Prices, within 400, 800, 900.
Mhm.
And within that price range, if it's a good house, it hits the market, there'll be multiple offers.
Wow.
But I was really surprised. There was a house in Minnetonka for 1.1. The house hits the market. It was the right house, right price. They got multiple offers.
Wow.
Multiple.
1.1 million
1.1.
in Minnetonka.
That's a lot.
They got some nice houses over there. I've seen the Minnetonka. Yeah.
That's rich.
Over by the lake.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always people willing to buy. Always.
All right. I have a short follow-up question for you. Right now, there are talks of our national debt, which is at $35 trillion right now, possibly defaulting if we hit 37 trillion. How do you think that's going to affect the housing market?
I don't think it will really affect it that much.
Okay.
Because it boils down to how much are we willing to spend? How is the demand and supply? And the demand will be as a result of how much cash we as individuals we have in our pocket to buy.
But generally Americans don't carry that much cash, and if we do default, the credit system is going to spike up, which means we're going to get higher interest rates on houses. So would you advise anyone right now to either wait for this national problem to be solved, or to go ahead and purchase a house right now?
I'll say purchase. You can go ahead and purchase now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when they put these interest rates on houses, will they change in case if we go into default?
It really depends.
Okay.
It really depends on the Fed. They
Mm.
decide the interest rates.
Okay.
So whatever happens tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
they make the call
Okay.
on how they feel they can balance the economy.
Yeah.
Putting the interest rate up or putting it down.
All right.
It depends on them.
So don't you think it's a high risk right now for someone to go ahead and purchase a property, even though our government is such a mess right now? They don't even know. I don't know what they're doing about this national debt that is almost closing in into default. And we already know if it defaults, interest rates on everything are going to spike up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right now, interest rate is high,
It's very high.
within the 7%.
Mhm.
And to me, my personal opinion,
Yeah.
it's a good time to buy
Okay.
because a higher interest rate means price of houses are being controlled really, really well.
Okay.
Yes. Control. So right now, if you're buying a house, you're getting at a discount.
Okay.
But when the interest rate goes down, what happens? Demands increase.
Increase.
And as demands increase, price goes up. So now you're buying your home at premium.
Mhm.
So how does that work? If you're looking to sell in the next 5 years,
Mhm.
your spread becomes very small. But if you buy your home right now with a higher interest rate, you buy it at a discount. So if you sell in the next 5 years, your spread is higher. But keep in mind, interest rate is actually something that changes every day.
Yeah.
So you can always refinance your home. You can always change the interest rate, but you cannot change the price that you bought the house at.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people out here to say, I'm waiting for the interest rate to go down before I can buy. But I don't think that's the right move. I don't think that's right. I think now is the time to buy because you get your house at a good price. You might struggle to pay your mortgage for the meantime
Mhm.
because of the higher interest rate. But long term, as soon as the interest rate changes, you have the opportunity to refinance. And that is, to me, that is the game.
Okay.
You have to play the game.
Sure.
So you
are
think?
you looking at it? Are you
sorry, go
looking
ahead.
at the process as more so as sort of an investment approach, so that if you're getting in now, you're getting a home while the overall home prices are more controlled, then you could sell within a few years and profit from it, for example. Um, or like you said, you could get in and then refinance after a couple of years. Versus the more, probably you could call it maybe traditional approach of where you get in on a 30-year mortgage and you're just there with that home, um, for the next 30 years. Like that's your family home for life,
Mhm.
which is maybe a more traditional approach. So do you think that's no longer really the sensible route? In your opinion, is it more about you get in and you sort of um, you buy, you sell, and you kind of move with the market?
I think what I see today is that people are more, people want their options.
Mm,
They want to be more flexible. Yes.
sure.
Back then, people used to look at buying a home as I'm buying a home and this is it for life.
Mhm.
The mindset of people today has changed. They want the option that I can buy a house today, and in the next 5 years, the family has gone, or maybe in the next 5 years, I just feel like, I want a different home. I want to upgrade. Or maybe the kids have gone to college
Mm,
and now we need to downsize.
Downgrade. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So I see the mindset has changed a lot
Mhm.
to many people. They're not looking towards buying a home for 30 years to stay there for 30 years.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
that's why I will always recommend, not looking towards 30 years,
Okay.
looking towards short term. Short term, you'll be more beneficial. You can always sell the home.
Mhm.
You can always, buy a second home
Mhm.
and keep that as a rental. Do whatever.
So
How-
when you buy your first home, how long do you have before you can actually put it back on the market?
If you're using an FHA loan, most of the time it comes with a clause that you have to stay in that home for at least 2 years.
FHA loan.
Yeah, FHA loan.
Okay.
Yeah. But if it's a conventional loan, you can buy a home today
Mm-hmm.
and you can buy the second home tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as you have the money.
Okay. All right.
That's the important piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the refinance process like? I mean, is that if you decided after you bought a home, that, and then suddenly there's a big drop in interest rate a few years later, how simple is it to just then refinance your mortgage loan?
So refinancing is more like getting a new loan. So you have your loan with X mortgage company
Mhm.
at the interest rate of 7%. Now the interest rate is at 4%. So I go to B loan company and say, I need a loan for X amount.
Mhm.
You guys willing to give me a 4%? I'll take the loan, I'll pay off the other loan, then now I'm with you. So you're getting a new loan,
Sure.
basically.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're basically swapping
You're basically swapping.
out the loan, but you have to pay off the first one.
You have to pay off the first one.
Mm.
So you're getting the new loan at the balance of the old one.
Sure.
Wow. Okay.
It's a lot more easy because most of the time, if you have equity in your home,
Mhm.
you're not taking nothing out of your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they use the equity because getting another loan, there's cost.
Sure.
To originate a loan. So that cost, you can just pull that cost from the equity you have in the home.
Invested in the home.
Yes. That's also an opportunity for you to also take some cash out.
Okay.
If you want to.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I have a question with you because of what you just mentioned. I have a question for you. Have you ever seen a situation where a house became a liability and not an asset?
I've never seen a situation, but it could be.
Okay.
It could be. And people make this mistake a lot.
Uh-huh.
You pretty much find yourself in a position where you're over leverage. Pretty much you take money out of your home as a HELOC, home equity line of credit. And you go back and take more. Because when you take it, it also increases your monthly payments. So now your home become a liability. You have a first lien, which is your primary mortgage.
Yeah.
Second lien, which is the second HELOC. Third lien, which is the other HELOC. So you accumulate so much, you become, you can afford all of this anymore. So it become a liability.
Well, is that essentially what you're saying? Is that's essentially taking out multiple loans?
On the same
You're just adding loans onto your mortgage.
Yes.
So then you're paying multiple loans at once.
Yep.
Wow.
It's a smart move if you do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Very smart move if you do it right.
Okay.
Yeah. Because taking a mortgage, a loan out of your home is always good.
Yeah.
Because you can use that to pay your debt. You can use that to acquire more properties. You can use that to do more things, but don't go shopping.
Don't go to Dubai. You hear that? Don't go to Dubai.
No. Unless you're going to buy a home in Dubai.
All right. Do you have more questions for him? Or should we proceed?
We can proceed.
All right.
To the next important question.
Rapid fire round, I ask you if you thought AI would interfere in the housing market, and you said yes. How so?
I think AI is something that we all kind of learn it as we go.
Yeah.
It's changing every day. As of now, it's helping. It's helping. You can stage your home, using AI, things like that. You can have an AI, do some of your marketing. Because with us as realtors, as agent, we pretty much do everything. You are the marketing manager, you are the sales manager, you're the accountant, you're the outreach. So we do all of that. So if with AI, we're able to delegate some of those responsibilities, like marketing. They can help us with a few things. Customer service. They can do a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a lot that I don't even know. But I think
we're still learning the AI.
We're still learning as we go. but I can see AI helping a lot
Okay.
to a certain extent.
Mhm.
Um,
So do you think
Yeah.
do you think there's remotely even a single chance that it might replace realtors and agents?
I
know
think
that's
I don't think so.
because I know that is a big topic right now. Anytime I turn on CNN, if they're not talking about, of course, politics, it's always about AI. Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
is panicking because
The,
it's
the thing is that AI can help to a certain extent, and that's it. You know, we as agent, we have to go in there. We have to look at the house. You have to physically look at the house before you purchase it.
okay.
And that require somebody to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen people buy a house by just looking at it online. It's okay. That's your choice. But I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah, that's bad. That's not the right. That's not the
Yeah.
right way to
Well,
go
and
about
I would imagine for most people, most families who are making a big life decision like that, they want a human interaction, someone guiding them through that process
Right.
as
Right.
well. I think a lot of people would have a lot of challenge with trusting just AI, just computerization to handle all of that process.
Correct.
They want someone they can have a back and forth conversation.
Right.
Um, I would say that it seems like though that the buying and then going through the whole process and closing on a house, there's so many steps through that process that there may be some areas where AI could be of great benefit, right? And some of the tedious paperwork part of that process, because I know it's a very long, months long process to close on a home, right?
Mhm.
What are some of the areas you think where it would make your life easier if there was some automation being done in that closing process?
Ah, automation can be done, but not a lot.
Mm,
Not a lot, because it still require an individual to write a contract, to have a conversation with the buyer or the seller.
mm,
And okay, what are we putting on this contract? What There has to be that communication
Mhm.
right.
before we put everything into the contract. Because I, as the agent, I don't make decision. My role is to advise, is to educate, is to teach, to be a cheerleader. That is my role.
Mm,
The decision
sure.
is for the buyer. The decision goes to the buyer or the seller.
Yeah,
So there has to be that communication.
that makes sense.
So AI might come, but not in a lot of help.
Yeah. I mean, so there are certain areas, I guess, that you wouldn't be directly involved in, like in the underwriting of a mortgage loan or something like that.
Right.
That's maybe an area where AI would start to come in with underwriting, because underwriting is a process of basically sort of checking the details of the loan.
Wait,
right?
is that not already on the bank underwriting for a
Yes.
mortgage?
So the bank does the underwriting part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the question is, what is the bank looking at? Most of the time, they look at your bank statement. They look at your finances. Again, to what extent can AI do that and be able to question some transactions on your bank statement? I don't know that. But I know we're getting there. We're getting there. It's getting really, really advanced. But I don't know how how fast can we get to the point where AI can make those decisions
Hmm.
and question, okay, on this bank statement, I see this and I question this, things like that. But I wanted to say something that some workers today, we have some workers that um they have vacant homes and they don't need an agent to go show those homes. They
Mm.
give you the buyer the code. You go there and look at the home.
Oh.
Oh,
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Um again, that is that is their choice of how they want to do their
yeah, I
business.
wouldn't trust that. I wouldn't
But
trust that.
if the home is not vacant, I don't think I would trust anybody walking into my home in and out.
Yeah.
I will not trust
No, a
that.
seller, I don't think they want
I won't
random strangers showing up and
showing
just kind of parading through the home,
yeah, because
Sounds a little bit risky.
when we go in to look at how we look at everything.
Mhm.
Everything we get inside your bedroom, we get into every single thing. We're looking at things. So it becomes a little bit, there's a liability right there.
Mm.
And who is going to hold that liability? You, the broker. I don't know.
Yeah.
Guy showing up. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
tough one.
that's bold. That's a bold move on
That
part of those brokers.
Yeah. So the home
I would
has
say.
to be vacant for that to happen.
Yeah. But even then, it seems like a risk to have
It's
someone
still,
escorting themselves through even a vacant home.
yes, it's still.
Um,
Anything can happen.
anything can
Right.
happen.
So basically, you think AI is definitely going to be part of real estate, but it's not going to be that involved in it. It's still a safe career path for anybody out there that wants to take.
It's still very safe.
Okay.
Very
All
safe.
right.
I always recommend people to join,
All right.
to get into it,
Okay.
because we still have a long way to go before AI can
Sure.
even get close.
Well, I definitely feel like being a realtor is one of those just human to human type roles, where that's the importance of it, is you're guiding somebody else through this process, human to human. I see it as the same reason why I don't think AI is going to replace therapists anytime soon either.
Oh no, no,
Is
no. That's
human
not.
beings that
That's not
want
gonna
that
happen.
human to human connection,
Right.
and especially, you are somewhat of a therapist to these home buyers, right? You're giving them peace of mind. You're giving them peace of mind as you guide them through this, what can be a very stressful process,
Right.
for buyers, and especially for first time home buyers. So,
All right, that's it for
interesting
me
question.
with the AI question. All right, Ben.
Yes. Yeah. So another question for you here, and we've touched on this a little bit, but I want to get, a real answer from a realtor here. So the question um, is there is there really a good time to buy? Right, because you know, if you ask a realtor, right, I think they're always going to tell you that it's the right time to buy, because a realtor always wants to sell a house, right? So, so when is truly the best time to buy? And I think you already kind of touched on this a little bit. Versus what's the best time for a buyer, or what's on the flip side, what's more of a seller's market?
Yeah.
But when really is the best time to invest in a home?
So first of all, I think this is what a lot of people get it wrong, that us as realtors, we get to sell houses.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when I try to give advice to people, they feel like I'm pushing them to act immediately. No, I'm not. In most cases, and I think this is one of the things I feel like most first-time home buyers don't get. I would say a lot of them are poor listeners, very poor. Um, so when you give them advice, they don't really consume it the right way. They still hang on to maybe what they watch on social media.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of
so
opinions on there.
yeah, so many opinions. So yeah. But back to your question, the right time to buy, there's no right time to buy. The right time to buy to me is when you, as an individual, is ready to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Is when you know that I have my finances correct. I have the mindset correct. I'm ready to own a home. To me, I think that's the right time to buy.
Mm-hmm.
The market will always be good for you. You just have to take opportunity of what is out there. At any given time, the price will either be high, or at any given time, the interest rate will be high. So you have to pick one.
Sure.
You have to pick one. Right now, prices are well controlled. Interest rate is high. This could be an opportunity. I know people always want a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always tell people, look for opportunities, not a deal.
So let me ask it this way: when would you buy?
Yeah.
If you decided to buy, are you a homeowner now? By the way,
I have multiple homes.
multiple homes. Okay. Um, do you think right now would be a time that you would invest in another home?
I actually like the market now.
Okay.
Because it's a time for me to invest more. Because the price, I'm getting at a discount. Every house that I'm buying today, I'm buying the house at a discount. Why the interest rate is high, which is good, because I'm hoping to refinance in the next future. But as an investor like me, I don't like to buy at premium price. And I feel like, this should also apply to every person that wants to own a home.
Okay.
You don't want to buy at premium price. you want to buy a discount.
Okay.
Yeah, so the right time to buy is anytime.
Just
It's
when you're ready.
you are ready as an individual.
Oh
But you have
Yeah.
you have to keep in mind that buying a home is a huge responsibility,
Mm.
which I think most people don't really get it. You know, there's a responsibility that you have to maintain your home.
Mhm.
You're not renting anymore. So
Yeah.
the mindset has to change. And that's what people don't get. When we talk about, is it the right time to buy? The right time is when you're well prepared
Hmm.
to own a home.
Yeah. For all the maintenance and
All the maintenance and
Gotta cut the grass, man.
you have to cut the grass.
You gotta cut
You-
the grass.
Yeah.
you have to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, you know, in most cases, because you're moving from a average product renting to a premium product, so the price also goes up.
Mm.
You know, you're paying 1,600 for 2 bedrooms. Keep in mind now you're owning a home, so the cost will slightly go up.
Mm.
So all those things, you have to be prepared for things like that. It comes with owning a home, but the mindset has to change that I'm no more renting, but I'm building equity.
Right. That's an interesting point. So, what should people expect? So, for example, you just mentioned an example. 16, you're paying, 1,600 rent maybe for a 2-bedroom apartment. And with that apartment, there would be some additional fees, of course, that you're paying utilities, whatever else. What type of expenses if you bought a home, for example, let's say your mortgage is exactly that. Maybe you got a good deal, your mortgage is 1,600 a month. But what else are you going to be paying on top of that 1,600 a month to maintain this home? What other expenses should a first-time home buyer expect?
So a couple of things. If you're buying a townhome, you should expect to pay an HOA fee.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know for sure you're paying electricity when you're renting.
Sure.
But now you're getting a slightly bigger home, so electricity cost goes up,
Mm-hmm.
gas goes up, water bill also might stay the same. You're taking the same shower,
Mm-hmm.
right? But there's some other things that will go up in terms of cost. You also want to keep some cushion for maintenance.
Okay.
Yeah. You're responsible for all those repairs and
All those, yes.
and maintaining the home, and plus, like you said, you'll have to buy a lawnmower.
You have to buy a
You
lawnmower.
have to.
So do you think it's better to buy a new home or purchase a second-handed one?
That's a good question. And this is the question I get all the time.
Yeah.
Buying a new home or buying a used home?
Yeah.
I always say, think of it as buying a car. Would you prefer to buy a new car or would you prefer to buy a used car?
Mm.
If you want to buy a used car, I would recommend don't buy a very old car because it will come with a lot of maintenance because of the years of usage, because of the mileage. The same applies with a home. If you want to buy a used home, it is okay. Just keep in mind, the older the home is, the more you have more
Yeah.
maintenance to do.
Yeah.
Some homes have been remodeled really well. Everything has been changed. So it feels like a brand new home. You have everything new. That is still okay. So just be cautious of what you're buying. But to me, it comes down to preference, personal preference. Do you really like the smell of a new home? But keep in mind, it comes with a premium price
Mm-hmm.
as compared to an older home.
Yeah.
So which one is profitable long term?
Both. Both
Really?
are profitable long term. Both.
Yeah, a lot
You
of factors that would go into
Yes.
that, right? I mean, it's about location.
Location,
It's
that's the
about
key.
a lot of other things. I would even say, I mean, it's also about who built it, right? You know, the contractor, because there's a lot of people out there building homes now.
Yes.
We see, all over the Twin Cities, there's so much land and space being bought up, and all these new homes popping up everywhere.
Mhm.
And so, just because it's a brand new home, I think it doesn't mean it's higher quality than some of the other older built homes out there, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think location matters a lot.
Mm.
Yeah, location is key. But yeah, you have brand new homes out there, but you know, homes comes with quality, different quality,
Yeah.
and the price will reflect that.
Yeah, there you go. Just like a car, you know.
Yeah.
Is it a is it a brand new Chevy,
Or nay.
or is it a brand new Cadillac?
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
All right. So, is there any more questions?
Well, I wanted to ask. So we asked that question: when's the right time to buy?
Mhm.
On the flip side of that, when is the perfect time to sell?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's a
wow.
good one.
That's a good one. That is a good one. You know, you can never know. You can never. It boils down to you. How much equity do you feel like you've accumulated in that home?
Hmm.
Do I feel like now is a good time to sell the home? When it's a seller's market, that basically means that demand is higher than supply. You can easily sell. I can say that is a good time to get into the market to sell because you can put your home at premium price. But when the demand is less than supply, you're coming to the market with multiple homes in the market.
Mhm.
You go into a neighborhood, there are 10, 20 houses for sale within the same block.
Mm.
And you choose to put your house in the market, you bid a 21 home. What do you expect, for that to happen? I don't think that's the right move to make. But when you notice that the demand is high, in this block, there's no home for sale. In this neighborhood, there's no home. You come into the market, you right there, that's the right time to make the most out of your money.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, you want the biggest return on your investment.
Well, how do we know when demand is higher than supply?
You can always talk to a realtor.
Rather, okay.
We see the numbers every day.
Okay. All right. So what is happening right now? Is the demand right now higher than supply?
Right now, the demand is high.
Oh wow. Okay.
The demand is high. The supply is a little bit low, but keep in mind, everybody doesn't know what is going on with the economy. So everybody's at the fence. Everybody's on that gray area. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to sell because if they need to go and buy a new home, it will cost them more. But if you're selling to go and rent or to do whatever, you see people do that a lot. But when you sell to go and buy, you get a little bit more cautious with that move.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of time, most people have an interest rate of 3%. Now, if you're selling to go and buy, you're moving from 3% to 5, 7, 6.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a jump.
So those are things you have to put into account. But right now, a lot of people are worried about selling. A lot of people are worried about buying.
Yeah.
That's what is going on with the economy right now.
Yeah, it's unstable. There's a lot of
Yeah, nobody knows what is
uncertainty.
happening.
But going back to the sort of supply demand, what we're saying here is if there's a big demand for homes, then shouldn't that work in favor of the seller? Because then they'll have people competing, sort of having to bargain or uh, put up higher prices to outbid other home buyers.
Correct. Correct. Okay. And I can say now is the situation. We have a little bit more buyers than sellers. So now it's a good time to sell.
I see. Okay.
All right. Well, my last question for you today is, as a realtor, right, with this extremely high cost of living in America right now, we know the cost of living is spiking up since like 1970, 1960, it's just been steadily going up. How do you expect young people to be able to purchase homes and maintain and pay up the mortgages on time with this crazy cost of living? No, it's not easy. I talk to a lot of my younger friends, and yeah, a lot of them want to become homeowners, but they don't know. The paychecks are not just good, and yeah, everybody's just scared. Nobody knows what is gonna happen. Yeah.
I think you can still buy now.
Okay.
So with the young people, now is still a good time to buy. It's just, what is your expectation?
Okay.
What I see a lot is that people go into the marketplace looking for what they want. Should be looking for what they need. So that's to me that's the biggest problem today.
We are too ambitious.
Yes, yes. And when you do that, you're looking for what you want, and it doesn't match up with your paycheck. But keep in mind, buying a home is an investment. It is a big purchase, so you should be looking for what you need.
Mhm.
Yeah, ignore what you see your friends have.
Okay.
Ignore all of that.
Turn off the noise.
Just focus on what you need, and you tend to realize that it's not that difficult to own a home. The expense might be slightly higher, but you can still do it because you're looking at what you need, not what you want.
Yeah. So getting a little deeper into the details of that, I think traditionally it was expected, or the traditional expectation in getting a mortgage is that you should be able to put 20% down, right, of whatever the price of the home is, right? So if you're buying a $400,000 home, that would be what, 80,000
Somewhere, yeah.
that you have saved to put down. Do you think it's safe to try to invest in a property if you don't have that 20%? Because I know that there are nowadays, they'll tell you, right, there are so many other loan options you can take for that even some of them, I think, you don't put any money down. But that to me seems very risky. If you're taking out a huge loan to put towards a home, but you really don't have any money in pocket to put towards it. What are your thoughts on that?
I think whatever works for you, go for it. Putting nothing down is not always the best option to me.
Okay.
Yeah. I always want to see that you want to invest into this because this is an investment for you. But if you have the option today, there are a lot of programs out there that can help you with down payments. A lot of options. Right now, we have a program that will give you 32,000 to buy a home, and a lot more out there. So you come to the table with zero in your pocket. But if you're able to accumulate all these programs, you can easily come up with close to 10% of your down payment. And that will help you a lot. That will really, really help your monthly payment because it boils down to your monthly payment. To me, that's the biggest thing. Being able to have a reasonable monthly payment. So if you feel like, okay, zero down, and you have all these programs that will help you and give you a good monthly payment, then that's fine for you. Good for you. But
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't make sense to me when you go to the table with no cash and now you have this high monthly payment that you have to, go through every month.
Yeah.
That is not, that doesn't make sense to me.
Right. So, okay, so touching on something you said, you mentioned like a program that's going to just give you 32,000, right?
Up to.
What's the catch? Because nobody's just handing us money, right? So
yeah.
What
yeah,
are
there
we?
have to be a catch.
What are we having to do in order to get this money towards the down payment?
Right. So there's no catch. So this is called a first generational home buyers program. So these are just funds, allocated by the city to help people get into a home. So there's no catch. The only catch is that you have to stay in the home for a certain period of time. Each of these programs come with certain criteria that you have to fulfill.
Sure.
Some of you have to be in the home for 20 years. Some of them 5 years. The 35 that I mentioned you have to be in the home for 5 years.
Okay.
So does that down does that piece that they're giving towards the down payment, is that added on to your mortgage, or is it's just a separate amount?
It's a good question. It's a separate amount, so you can only use it for like down payment or closing cost.
I see.
So it doesn't add onto the mortgage.
Okay.
People get
All right.
that confused all the time.
It seems like a good deal. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, it sounds like a good deal until you look at the interest rate, though, because you have to look at the interest rate on that, because it's a loan, right?
It's not a loan.
What he's saying is it's
Wait.
not part of the mortgage, so
Yes.
it's not a loan.
It's not a loan.
The city or whoever.
Is it just free money?
It's free money.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's free money. So and there are a lot of
I wasn't
Platooni's
following.
attention.
yeah,
Hold on.
there are a lot of them out there.
Wait up.
And this is away from what we call a down payment assistance. We have just the regular down payment assistance, which
Yeah.
is a deferred loan. What do you mean by it's a deferred loan? Which means you get a loan to buy a home. You don't pay interest on that loan. You pay the loan only when you sell the house in the future or when you choose to refinance the home, and you pay just the exact amount.
Hmm.
No interest added.
Yeah.
So you can get that deferred loan
Mhm.
and also get the 35,000 at the same time. So the 35, keep in mind the 35 is free, but the
Like,
down payment is
completely
deferred
free.
Well,
completely free.
as you mentioned, it comes with certain conditions.
Yes.
That you have to stay in the property.
You know.
35 for 5 years, 10 years. That doesn't sound like a bad deal to me.
Correct. Correct.
Interesting.
You're not going anywhere in 10 years anyway. You're not going anywhere in 5 years. So
And I think this is what a lot of people don't get. There's a lot of opportunities out here that you need to take advantage of.
information.
A lot. It's just about information. A lot of opportunities.
All right.
But you have to be qualified to with some of these programs.
Sure. So I think we better get Platini signed up. He seems very excited for this handout. He's going to get
I drink at 8 a.m.
$30,000 for Platini. Very good. I think we're at the point to wrap up here. But before we do, I want to make sure that Mr. Ali, you're able to share with our audience all of your resources, where people can find you, for example.
Absolutely.
Any social media handles you might want to share. Any other information that for our viewers, our listeners today, they can contact you and maybe invest in their home or get their or sell their home if needed.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you guys for having me in this show.
Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure.
It's a privilege for me to be the first guest.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It's great to have you.
It's a big deal to me. You can find me on all the social media platforms. My handle is Alim Baske, which is ALIMBASKE. You can find me on, shoot me a message, do whatever, and we can connect and get you going.
Very good.
All right. Thank you so much for
Any
coming.
other resources you want our listeners to know about? Anything else out there?
I think we can talk more if you have any
Yeah,
just
reach out,
contact you directly.
specific needs.
Okay.
So just
Reach out to our man and he'll hook it up.
I'll take it from there.
All right. All
Awesome.
right. Thank you so much.
No,
for
this has
coming,
been a
Mr.
great
Ali. Thank you
discussion.
so much.
Yeah, thanks for being a part of Unfiltered
Yeah,
podcast.
our very first episode.
And we'll look
guest.
forward to speaking some more and getting Platini some free money.
Nice.
Why are you talking about me? You see, you also sound interested.
Yeah, we can get you one also.
Hey, why not? Give me 32,000.
All
Let's go.
All right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in on this special episode today. We'll catch you guys again next week, and we'll continue from where we left off with our last week's episode. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you all.